Welcome back in. Today we're going to be discussing James Cook and his 2024 fantasy outlook. He's currently being drafted at RB 13 or 34th overall, according to Fantasy Pros ADP right now. Now, last season was a very productive one. 1,100 rushing yards last year, 445 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. They did only average 13.7 fantasy points per game, despite handling 62% of the opportunities with a 10% target share last year. Basically, handled about 13.9 carries and 3.2 targets per game last year. He was efficient on the ground, 12th in yards per carry, 26th in breakaway run rate. He was also good as a pass catcher, second in yards per reception, and sixth in yards per route run. Now, one of the biggest things that helped him the most last year was switching from Ken Dorsey to Joe Brady. With Ken Dorsey, he averaged 14.4 touches per game and 12 fantasy points per game. But once they switched over to Joe Brady, he ended up seeing about 19 touches per game and averaged about 16 and a half fantasy points per game over that span. So I do think having Joe Brady around is going to be a boost for James Cook. One of the biggest talking points this offseason has been two things. It's been one, his lack of red zone usage last year, and mainly his lack of goal line opportunities, where we only saw 4 of them. We had guys like Latavius Murray who had 11 goal line touches last year, and then following that you had Josh Allen who had 16. Now Josh Allen's obviously not going away. Josh Allen's always going to get opportunities inside the red zone, inside the goal line as a runner. That's probably not going to change. Could we see a little bit less of it, maybe try to keep a little more healthy? Yes, that's possible. But that being said, I don't see that changing all that much. And that where enters Ray Davis, where a lot of people are trying to project that Ray Davis is going to take away a lot of touches from James Cook. And we saw the same story last year, and it didn't end well. So many people last year were hyping up Tank Bigsby with Travis Etienne and saying the same things about Travis Etienne. Well, as we know, Travis Etienne ended up finishing as the RB3 last year in fantasy points and also RB7 in fantasy points per game. Tank Bigsby did not factor in at all. Tank Bigsby was, in fact, terrible, was one of the worst running backs in the league last year. And that was something that I was pounding the table for last year, was telling everybody, don't worry about this. Draft Travis Etienne, buy the dip, and it worked out. And I'm saying the same thing this year with James Cook. People are overvaluing Ray Davis. We have to remember that Ray Davis, while I'm not saying he's even going to be as bad as somebody like Tank Bigsby was, Ray Davis was not thought of as this elite running back prospect this year. For a lot of people, he was like their RB7, RB8, RB9. And the context here is this is one of the worst running back classes we have seen in a long time at the running back position. That is all that was talked about, was how bad this running back position was going to be. Do I think that nobody's going to come out of this? No, I'm sure there will be some productive players, but there's no elite level prospect here. And so looking at Ray Davis, we shouldn't think that he's all of a sudden going to come in and command this high touch share. Do I think he's going to get touches? Sure. I definitely think he's going to. We saw James Cook last year handle about a 60% opportunity share. I think he probably comes in right around that same range, 60, 65%. But what he does, and he checks the boxes that we should be looking for the most. He is a tremendous pass catcher out of the backfield. He is going to command a lot of targets. There's a lot of target volume that was vacated this offseason by somebody like Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. 240 targets, in fact. 41% of the total team targets are gone. Now, I'm not saying at all that those are all going to James Cook. They obviously added Keon Coleman through the draft, and they also added Curtis Samuel this offseason, who's going to soak up a lot of it. But overall, I still think James Cook can be somebody who sees 70, 75 targets this year, sees more opportunity, can easily surpass 50 plus receptions this year, which is going to help him. As we know, a target is worth 2.5 times a carry is, and those are things that I care about the most. Well, yes, I do think he has a limited touchdown upside. It still wouldn't shock me if he ended up with double-digit touchdowns this year. It's definitely in the range of possibility, and so I'm not going to let Ray Davis cloud my judgment. I think James Cook is a solid back end RB1 this year, and you can easily have him as a back end third round, early fourth round pick. And as more and more negativity comes out, really wouldn't be surprised if he ends up dropping down and being a fourth round pick this year. And that is an easy click for me, because these are the type of players that I'm looking for. While I don't think he has like the RB1 upside in him, he could definitely finish and right around as a top 5 running back this year, much like Travis Etienne did last season. Let me know in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on James Cook? Are you scared away of drafting him, or would you rather take somebody else there, or at a different position altogether? Let me know in the comment section below. We'll see you on the next one.